Mercy is that compassionate, even protective care for others, especially those most in need. Every priest is required to make an annual retreat. I have always looked forward to the luxury of that full week away as an opportunity to recommit to Christ's priesthood and to grow spiritually. I've tried to vary the type of retreat from year to year, sometimes preferring a silent directed retreat, sometimes a preached retreat. The best preached retreat I ever experienced was given by a renowned priest scripture scholar who limited the size of the retreat group to 10 parish priests. His first reflection was on the gospel imperative to forgive 70 times 7 times, found in Matthew 8:22. That is to forgive always, and he ended his presentation with homework. We were to make a fairly detailed list of what we had forgiven in our lives, and then come to the next session ready to share the list with the others on the retreat. He concluded by advising us that this was not a casual exercise, that we were to seriously reflect on various times in our lives, such as growing up in our families' homes or our years in the school or in the parish, and then create the list. I arrived at that next session with a certain amount of apprehension and a single-spaced list, a page and a half long. Remarkably, the first to share his list was the retreat director. He was disarmingly honest. And then, brother priest to brother priest, we shared our lists in the same way. It was a moving and inspiring session. But the retreat director was not done with us yet. His next reflection was on the parable of the unforgiving steward, Matthew 18:23-35. And the homework for this session was to make a detailed list of what we had not forgiven in our lives. This time he said sharing would be optional, but we all had to bring our lists to the session anyway. At the opening of this session, he didn't share his list right away as before, but instead asked us what we had discovered. We all had to reveal that we couldn't believe how long the unforgiven lists were by comparison with the forgiven lists. In almost every instance, mine included, the unforgiven list was almost twice as long as the forgiven list. And when the director asked if each of us had thought we were forgiving individuals in the spirit of Christ's imperative, we had to admit that each of us did. The director then went on to share his list, and we followed suit. It took 2 full sessions to get through the 11 lists. The remainder of the retreat was a tutorial on what the director referred to as the committed will to forgive. We learned that the first beneficiary of an act of forgiveness is the forgiver, who no longer has to carry the ache of whatever wrong was done. Modern psychological research has even confirmed the health benefits of the act of forgiveness. We learned that things unforgiven in our pasts collect and often go unnoticed while they weigh us down. We were certain that had our group of 10 not joined this retreat, we would never have known the work of forgiveness each of us had to do when we returned home. We learned that sometimes an obstacle to the committed will to forgive is really revenge. You hurt me, so I won't forgive you, which is a failed strategy in every way. We learned that because no one is perfect, we are all of us sinners after all. In one way or another, we are going to hurt each other, disappoint each other, offend each other. Forgiveness is what allows us to continue on in this imperfect world of imperfect people. We learned that rarely can we forgive instantly. It takes time for us to bring ourselves to the full act of committed forgiveness. That is why the Church teaches us to practice these 2 essential spiritual works of mercy: to forgive offenses willingly and to bear wrongs patiently. Be intentional about taking the time to reflect what is forgiven and what is unforgiven in your own life. Renew your appreciation for the examination of conscience that is preparation for the sacrament of reconciliation. Then receive the sacrament, especially if it has been a long time since you have visited the reconciliation room. There you will find what this year celebrates: the medicine of mercy.